Hello and welcome to the 27 people, 27 movies. We are nearing the end of season 3, and joining us to talk about one of my favorite movies, Jaws, is Mr. Seidel. Welcome, Mr. Seidel. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. McCaughey. Thank you for having me.
So, we've known each other for a while now, almost a decade. I was thinking about that coming in. We saw each other last night at some Little League baseball games, and softball games. And then just doing the math, I think your daughter asked how long we had known each other, and I was like, man, it's almost a decade. But our listeners may not be as familiar with you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you, your time here at Townsend, your time at teaching here in the DOE?
Well, today being the last day of school, I just finished my 20th year.
Wow.
And I started in a small, brand new school in the Bronx 20 years ago. A young principal hired me and probably gave me way too much responsibility.
that happens in the Bronx. That is something that happens in the Bronx.
And from there, went to a couple other schools. We ended up together at the Kurt Hahn Expeditionary Learning School
KHELS.
at the Tilden Educational Campus
there in
East Flatbush, Brooklyn.
East Flatbush.
Yes, and I think the Mets had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, that was the year the Mets were in the World Series. Probably the last one for quite a while. But yeah, that I think kind of brought us together.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the person to go out there and make friends very well. No. So I think that kind of brought us together there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But 20 years, and I just finished my second year here at Townsend Harris, and it's been nothing but amazing, and I get to work with amazing people, and I get to meet amazing individuals, and very happy to be here.
And you're a Queens kid, so
yeah, get to come back home to Queens. That's huge. I grew up not too far from here. I went to Cardozo High School. Got my degree from Queens College. Had an apartment not too far around the corner from Townsend Harris. So these are my stomping grounds.
Full circle.
Yeah.
I was just looking at that old Facebook while we were getting started. And June 26th, I don't know if it might have been my first last day of school. Like June 26th is always like the date in my head for like when school ends. And then looking at Facebook, I have all these Facebook memories of the last day of school. And it was 10 years ago I left Evander. I left the Bronx. So then 5 years in Brooklyn and 5 years here. But congrats to you, 20 years. Yeah. Damn.
We were at Evander, just at different times, too.
Yeah. And that building was so big. Like I was at Bronx Lab, which was like 2.5 hallways kind of, but then just like it extended so far down in other places you never saw.
Yeah, the Townsend is the smallest name of a school I've worked at. The Bronx High School for Writing and Communication Arts.
I think there's a direct correlation between the quality of the school and the length of the name. I think if you got a real long name, for the most part, it's not a good sign. Look at everything we do. We're writing. We have technology. We have an academy in here, and that's it. Look how great we are. And usually it's not that great. Well, welcome. Congrats on 20 years.
Appreciate it.
I think the connection between your life and this movie, Jaws, is that you are a man of the sea. You are a fisherman. You are a sailor. Tell us about that.
Yeah, like I said, I grew up not too far from here in Bayside, but I spent my summers in Rockaway. And while everyone else went to the beach, I would walk a 12-foot aluminum rowboat into Jamaica Bay and fish Coney Island and fish the back of Jamaica Bay by JFK Airport. And that's how I spent my summers, and that kind of escalated into other fishing opportunities, and that still a passion of mine. And I have my own little boat that I take my family out on, and I have on and off commercially fished for tuna out east in Hampton Bays, at a Shinnecock Inlet. And yeah, this film is the quote of all quotes. Like you dropped so many lines and quotes from this film while you're fishing, while you're having a good time with your mates. I guess you would say that.
I guess once you're on a boat, your friends become your mates.
I guess that's how it goes. And yeah, it's definitely a talking point.
What do you like the most about fishing? Like, what is it that makes it so appealing?
For me, it just gets me out of my head, and I think there's something to my beloved New York City, and then getting to see it, obviously in the dark, but then getting to see the sunrise before everyone else is up, and seeing the if you're in Jamaica Bay and you're and you look north. Essentially, what you're seeing is the sun come up over Coney Island, and in the background of flat Brooklyn, you see the skyline of New York City. And I've been looking at that skyline, and it's changed drastically in my lifetime. And there's a beauty to that. There's also a beauty to the idea that even with the issues of global warming and things like that, the estuaries in New York City are cleaner than they've ever been before. So as a kid, you didn't see dolphins, you didn't see whales, you probably didn't see hawks and things like that. You probably stepped on a tar ball or some type of pollutant on the bay, on the beach, whether in Rockaway or in Coney Island. But today, whales, sharks, birds, they're all there, and the bay is coming back.
Has that been like policy? Like, has that been government? Has that just been like the earth itself? Like,
I think there's a number of different things. I think it's regulation in terms of fishing. The fish oil industries are huge, and they were decimating our bait fish population. And then once they put regulations on that, you saw the larger fish come back. And the larger fish are, you have a deadliest catch situation off of, not deadliest catch, what's the one with the tuna?
Wicked tuna.
Wicked tuna, that's the one I'm looking at. You're catching 700-pound bluefin off of Rockaway. You're seeing the whale watching industry, I don't want to say come back. I don't know if it ever actually really existed here, but it's starting again. You also see the shipping regulations in terms of where ships are allowed to dispose of their waste. That has to be further out. I think you also see investment in just New York City and their waterfront all across the board.
It's so interesting, just like what little I know as a history teacher about ecosystems, but like I've read about like when they reintroduced like the wolf to Yellowstone or something, and like just that one thing trickles down to like the whole thing, exploding back into life just with one move. So that's really interesting. That can go there. Biggest fish you ever caught?
Biggest fish I ever caught. Probably be like a 700-pound blue marlin.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Because you've caught tuna too. I know because I've
caught
eaten
tuna. A couple different species of tuna, mostly yellowfin and what we call big eye tuna. We've caught a couple what we call giants, which are bluefin, but not those real big giants, like 200-300 pounds, which is really big for me and this region, but not those 1,000-pound or 700-pound ones you see on television.
But you said 700-pound marlin?
Yeah, so that was a catch and release. We were tuna fishing, and every once in a while here in New York, you have access to tuna. I'm sorry, bluefin marlin. A blue marlin, not a bluefin tuna. I'm mixing my words. And it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I probably never get the opportunity again, but it was beautiful, and
I'm always fascinated by that, like
released.
A long, whatever the term is, reel in. Just like taking hours to pull this fish into the boat. I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah,
I feel like every time I see those guys, like,
so the funny thing is,
cranking
it's a little bit different than traditionally reeling in a fish. It's more of a team effort. You have someone running the boat. You have someone obviously reeling in the fish. You have someone leadering or grabbing that line. You have someone, if you're harvesting a fish with a gaff. So it's really a team effort.
Yeah.
The easiest of the team effort is reeling in the fish. One mistake on other ends, you could lose a fish. And, for recreational purposes, it's disappointing. But when you're commercial fishing, where people are taking care of their family, and that there's a lot of pressure there to make sure that happens properly.
Yeah. Well, good luck on the ocean, on the seas this summer.
Absolutely.
Pulling them in.
I'm looking hopefully.
Yeah, we shall see. So let's talk about this movie. When we talked about you coming on and you brought this up, first I thought we were going to do Major League, which would have been a good one to do.
Lot of good quotes. A lot of quotes out of Major League.
Absolutely. But then this is like, Major League's an excellent movie. This is like a great movie. This is one of my all-time favorites, just because there's so many between the director, the shark, the actors, the characters. There's so much. And I've noticed from doing this podcast, opening scenes and the roles that opening scenes play, and this just starts with like these teenagers on a beach. Like, what's better? They got their beverage of choice, they got their bonfire going, they're gonna go for their swim. And
I think
poor
there was
Chrissy,
even someone playing a guitar in the background. That may have influenced why I'm pushing my daughter towards music. Be the person that pulls the guitar out.
Look how awesome you are. Don't be Chrissy Watkins. Don't go jumping into the water, because when they go for the swim, and she just goes because the guy's too drunk, he blows a shot, but I guess he ends up making the right decision. Maybe being fall down drunk was a positive for that young man.
Yeah.
Because Chrissy, it all kicks off.
I didn't even know the character's name. That's you.
Well, that's it. I love there's so many great characters. So like I have like my R.I.P. list. There's Chrissy Watkins. There's Alex Gittner. There's I think the dog gets killed too from watching Pippin when like he's throwing the.
You have an R.I.P. list?
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a definitive part of it, especially so like Chrissy kicks it all off, and just that scene itself is so good because like in my notes I have like different things on Spielberg and what he did, but like there's so much violence and noise in that scene, and then when she's pulled under, it all stops, and it's just like dead quiet, and it's just like this great shift, and this is like the beginning of it, and just the blood and the it grabs you.
Yeah, no, I mean for me, I think the scary part of it is how much you don't see.
So and that's always one of the big things with the movie is like you don't see the shark for so long, and then part of it is just the lore of the movie that like the shark was broken, which is the name of. So Missile Verde has a sweatshirt. There was a Broadway show. Robert Shaw's had to be his grandson because Robert Shaw was pretty old. Quint it's like a behind the scenes. It's like a 3-man show with someone playing Quint, but more like Roy Scheider and Robert Shaw. And the whole thing was about like the shark was broken. The shark didn't work. One of the reasons you don't see the shark as much in the movie is because it was this junky prop that just didn't work as well. But then what you get out of that is this like invisible, horrifying enemy.
Right.
That is then enhanced by John Williams and the score and the iconic music and everything. And it just kind of builds it all up. So there is something to like, even though you have the blood and the attacks and everything, there is something to the silence and the invisibility of the shark, if you will.
Someone for myself who's been out on the water and seen a lot of things, the one thing I haven't seen is a great white. Yeah. I've seen a tiger shark. I've seen different things like that. And then I think that's where my imagination goes, like, what does that actually look like? Yeah. And then I'm sure it's a lot more scary and intimidating, especially since the first time I saw the movie, I was a child and scared. Probably should not have seen that movie.
But that's also one of the things with this movie is like this kept people out of the water. Like this was especially, I think, it's released in 1975. It's a much more simple time. We don't have the internet poisoning everyone's minds and putting every horrific video in front of them. So just like there is that part of like, I like going to the beach, But like swimming, I like swimming in a pool a little bit. I can kind of just like I'm in a controlled environment. I can see the bottom. But that was that impact, especially like kids seeing this movie.
Yeah.
They're children eaten in this movie. Many children under threat. But we have it there. I think the movie is all about the characters. So I'm going to run through a couple of the characters. I'll get some of the smaller ones out of the way. Mayor Larry Vaughn. One of the great characters. In terms of like a side character, he's just like the classic idiot politician. To his credit, he does have Amity's success in mind. Like, This is their time to make money. If you close the beaches, there's going to be a problem. But also, like, people getting eaten on the beach is a problem. Your residents dying.
See, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. I don't remember how strong the mayor's New England accent is.
It's not big. It's not big.
So it's not Mayor Quimby style.
No, it's not. He's not like a Kennedy. More what draws to me, and I've thought of, is his jacket. If you go back and watch this movie, he has this anchor jacket, which is just the absolute worst. But it's like he's living on this island, and he has the jacket. And then he just has two great lines that I made sure I wrote down when I watched it. One, when they want to cut the tiger shark open, when they're trying to figure out, he's like, is this the shark? And he goes, he's like, I'm not going to have some half-ass autopsy on a fish and then stand here, see that thing cut open, and watch that Kittner boy spill all over the dock. Great line. And then when he's talking to the media when they catch the fish, he goes, when they catch the first shark, he goes, we have caught the fish that supposedly injured some bathers at the beach.
I never actually caught that.
It's so good because like the people, including a child, were eaten by a shark, and he's just totally trying to downplay it to save the island.
Now I'm mad that I didn't watch the movie again before this.
You gotta watch it. There are just so many great quotes like that. So before we get to the main three, the shark. Well, before we went on, and I was talking about the characters, like, well, you can't forget the shark. Absolutely.
Right.
It's the invisible enemy. It's just the raw power of the shark. He destroys so many things. He destroys the dock early in the movie when the guys are trying to catch him. The barrels, quints, so many things. You can't bring 3 down. You can't bring 2 down. Brings him down. The pulling the I was gonna write this down. The not the bracket. You know when you teach me, Joe. When you tie the rope
the cleat. The cleat. Okay, I got you.
Cleats off the
pulls
boat,
the cleats
right?
off the boat.
And it just like destroys this whole thing.
Yeah.
Just the raw power. The name of the shark, not given in the movie or the book, but given by Spielberg to the props, was Bruce. A little fun fact on him. I don't know. Your thoughts on the shark? I know you kind of shared a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's always this question of should they have ever shown the shark?
Yeah.
And just the what, especially looking back at it today, the duct tape and bale wire graphic that shark is, and just what makes the movie scary is really that opening scene and the things that kind of go along with it. In terms of, I think that there has to be like a conversation when we talk about the big 3 characters with the shark. Maybe we'll throw the shark as that 4th big character.
The shark is definitely the
that
4th
main
character.
Monologue that we're probably going to talk about at some point as history teachers, which we have to.
Got to do
that plays a role in that as well.
The one, if I were to criticize anything, especially with the shark, is there's the cage scene towards the end where Hooper gets into the cage, first of all, Hooper dropping everything. He drops the shark tooth early on, and the mayor doesn't believe the shark is there because he drops the shark tooth. And then he has like the poison spear or whatever to try to kill. He drops that too. But they filmed that scene in Australia. Well, so they have the scene with Richard Dreyfuss, but then there's like a scene where it's kind of pulled out, and it's like a shark fisherman in Australia. But they use like a real shark in it, and you can see the difference. First of all, the jaw shark is so big, it's so much of it, and then it's just like it's a big shark, but it's not like the shark. And it's also after seeing, like you said, the wire and duct tape shark, you're like, oh, look at that real shark. It doesn't look, even though it's real, it's not as good as the other one.
Yeah, I mean, does it make the wire and duct tape shark look even worse? That's a fair point.
Yeah. But no, I would argue, I think it's almost better. I didn't like seeing the real shark there, just because it was like, it wasn't the big one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so then we're left with Quint and Hooper and Brody. Let's just start with Quint since we already started talking about the Indianapolis. Supposedly Robert Shaw, again, there's a lot of lore around Jaws that he was just drunk through the entire movie.
Yeah.
He was only brought on to play the part like a couple weeks before it, but that he was just a disaster to work with. And that like he really liked to poke Richard Dreyfuss and bother him, and he was difficult. But just from the second he comes into the movie, dragging the nails across the board, like that whole scene where they're like, let's go into this conference room and we'll talk about it. And like you don't see all these people go in, but you don't see Quint until he, pulls the nail across the chalkboard. Great introduction. As a fisherman, there's a scene that made me think of you and fishing when he first gets the shark on the line, and he's sitting there like eating a cookie, and nothing is kind of happening, and you don't see the line move yet. At first, the line doesn't move; you see it move, but he has a noticing as the experienced fisherman that like something catches his eye as he's just sitting there eating a cookie. And then he kind of looks over and he sees the line kind of dingling, and he just very quietly and calmly straps himself into the chair to get himself ready. So I love that part of it. I mean, like, I've gone fishing with you. I've gone fishing with Mr. Gilman. I don't have that, like, touch of a line, to feel that little pull, which seems pretty damn important for catching a fish.
Yeah, I mean, I think they play that up a little bit in this film. But like any skill, there's a nuance to it. And I'm not quiet when I fish.
Yeah.
I play a radio. So I think the whole quiet thing is overplayed. But I go fishing in New York City. I have JFK Airport flying over me all day. So I don't know. Maybe if I was on a lake someplace in Michigan or in Canada,
that nice quiet spot.
And quiet, like, don't say anything.
Just bring it in. The highlight, probably of the movie, is the Indianapolis monologue, which is like 10 pages long, I think.
Well, before the monologue, Quint is based off of a character that grows up in Long Island.
Yeah, is it Montauk? I feel like there's I meant to look at it. There's like a Montauk connection to Jaws. He makes a reference to it about catching a shark.
Right. So there's it was this character. This character is based off of a fisherman called Frank Mundus, who, during my lifetime resided in Montauk, New York. If you go to Montauk, one of the spots to visit is this replica of a huge great white shark. That was before the great white was protected, and there's arguments about whether it was the biggest fish ever caught in a rod and reel. It is, I believe, an International Game and Fishing Association record, but not the Guinness Book of World Records thing.
Yeah.
But Frank Mundus was on the Indianapolis, and a lot of people attribute that story and that character of Quint to him. He passed a couple of years back. But there's definitely a lot of obituaries that kind of make that connection. Yeah.
And the monologue itself, there's even back and forth as to who wrote it and who was responsible for it. So, like, there's a screenwriter who's a tribute to it, but they say Robert Shaw. Then there was another guy who was like, no, Robert Shaw played, like, a big role in that. And, the content of it.
Well, I mean, I just love how it builds up to that monologue. Yeah. It's just people sitting around comparing scars. Like, and have you ever had one of those conversations where you've compared scars?
No, I have not.
Can't say I have.
Yeah. And it's also this bonding thing with Hooper and Shaw because they are like polar opposites.
I think it, yeah.
And but it brings them together. I got this one. A tiger shark did this.
Right, and before that is that working class character compared to that
soft hands,
and
money that's been handed them money.
Right. This I guess working and growing up in New York City, this trust fund kind of kid, and it's interesting. And then you see how the story kind of brings it together.
Yeah.
And the actual story of the Indianapolis.
Is one of the, so I just double checked on my computer. I read a book on it a couple of years ago. It's called In Harm's Way, and it's like it is one of the more horrifying stories ever. And if you don't know, one, watch Jaws, but learn your history as well, that they're essentially dropping off the mechanics for the atomic bomb. So it's a secretive mission to begin with. So the government doesn't want to let anyone know they're there. They essentially put in that they're coming back on a certain date, so no one goes out looking for them when they get torpedoed and sunk in shark-infested waters.
I mean, Truman was lucky he knew about the, the atomic bomb. I mean, yeah, and just, you know, how the conversation shifts. And as someone who's never had to join a service or join the military, you know, it always kind of brings me back to thinking about those people that have sacrificed and what they give up, and the sacrifices that my grandparents made fighting in Korea in World War II, and just how that kind of shifts. And then on top of it, just the sheer horror of going back to that first scene of the film.
Yeah.
And then
the invisible enemy just being picked
invisible
off.
enemy and being essentially marooned.
Yeah.
If that's the right word, for days.
Days in the ocean as well. The salt water, the sun, the heat, the sharks. I feel like I can't say these are in connection to what you said about the lines of this movie. Those lines, you know, you got black eyes, lifeless eyes, like a doll's eyes.
And that kind of brings that character together. And that's where I think that, you know, and I guess this is where the horror kind of comes into it. And the story of New Jersey back in, was it 1905, the attacks on New Jersey. And is this, I mean, essentially what we understand about sharks is when a shark attacks a human being, it's mistaken identity.
Yeah.
We're not very delicious.
But Jaws, they set this like Hooper has the theory. It's like territoriality, and like if you're just in this area, you will get attacked.
I guess we're still trying. I mean, that's the bigger thing too. Is we don't.
I mean, these freaking dinosaurs.
True, and we don't even know where white sharks breed.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, New York is a place that's being studied a lot, particularly New York Harbor, because there's a lot of juvenile great whites that come into New York.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research around that, trying to figure out where they actually breed and what is it about New York Harbor or the coast of Jersey or the coast of Long Island that you see the much smaller juvenile fish, sharks. And yeah, there's so much they're still learning about, so much they don't know.
And I feel like there's been, like, over the past couple summers, it'll be interesting to track it this summer, like out in the Hamptons and places like shark sightings, like even great white sightings, I think, or like.
So I know that there's a research vessel that like catches great whites and like tags them, and almost like they put them on this like barge or something like that, and they drop the water line and they measure them and things. I have seen that boat off in the Hamptons a couple times. So they're here. They've always been here. They're usually here early and then late in the fall. Usually not when the water's too hot. But we've seen a lot more different versions of species. And what's interesting is with global warming, we're seeing southern fish coming up north, whether it's the occasional bull shark, which is really a really scary version of a shark with the tiger shark, black tips. These are normally fish you see down south, and as the water gets warmer, you're seeing them here up north, and you're seeing some of our northern fish go further north. So it's an interesting dynamic there.
1,100 men went in the water, 316 men came out. Sharks took the rest. June 29th, 1945. I mean, I can't even say any of these things without doing a Quint impression, because it's just the perfect thing. But it's, to have read that book and just those stories, it is, I always say, like, horror movies don't scare me. things like that scare me. Like actual things that could possibly happen. Although people are always like, you don't have to be afraid of sharks, just don't go in the water. I mean, you can avoid a shark. They're not coming to get you. So if you're scared of them, just stay out of the water.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about, also being smart. Like, yeah, go to the beach, have a good time. Don't go swimming by yourself. Don't go swimming at sunrise. Don't go swimming at sunset.
Yeah.
These are times where predators feed, whether it's on land or in the water and things like that. And I think we learned that there was a woman hurt pretty bad in Rockaway last summer because she went for an evening swim. We're lucky that there was a lifeguard just coming off of their shift. And that's another thing. New York City's short on lifeguards. Be smart. I don't think there's anything to really be afraid of. But this movie definitely turned that idea on its head.
Yeah. The shark gets Quint, gobbles him right down. Really? That's so... That was another thing with Robert Shaw. They said he was such a prick on set because he was miserable because he had to be like cold and wet a lot of the time because like filming that scene where he gets just chomped and eaten by the shark.
I feel like that was one of the more graphic scenes I saw as a kid.
I mean, he literally gets chewed up. You watch like a man get chewed up and then the big bite goes in and the blood shoots out of his mouth. Yeah, that's a real one.
And then just dragged away into the darkness.
Yeah, and that's it. Pulled under. Oh, good. Damn. Scary, man.
And then there's another human being watching that? Is that what's
going
on?
Watch it happen. And now he's got to figure out. And I think Brody's such a great character just because, like, he hates the water. He has a killer job. Like, and I love when they talk about, like, the complaints that the police in Amity get before this is, like, there's a karate class that's breaking a fence. They're like, they're 9-year-old karate kids breaking fences. He's like, even says, like, there's never been a murder here. There's never been this. And also, like, his house is, like, the most beautiful. Like, it's literally on the water, on the beach. To be the police chief, he's a New York City guy.
Yeah.
But he's got it good. Hates the water, though. But then by the end, he's the one that's, like, hanging on the mast, sticks the scuba tank in, pulls out that rifle. This is the way they're going to get him.
Yeah.
Smile, you son of a bitch. Blows him up.
Fair enough.
And that's the end of Jaws.
And I don't know, could you that whole Nantucket Island thing, that Block Island vibe thing, I have no idea what that would be like.
Well, it's so interesting too, like the invading hordes of people. Like when they're like, when July 4th is coming, like these ferries are just filled to go from like, I mean, like you've been out to Montauk. I haven't been to Montauk so many times, and it's obviously different now. But like the difference from off season to on season in these beach towns is it's just wild.
The people I fish with, granted they live in Hampton Bays, which is not the glitzy Hamptons. It's really where the contractors and the fishermen live that are out there full time. They hate the summer.
Yeah, it's a bad place during the summer.
Because all of a sudden it's an hour and a half to get off of, was that Sunrise Highway?
Or 27 straight out there.
27 or whatever it may be.
The movie ends. The shark has exploded. I don't know how else to end the movie. The end feels a little anticlimactic because it's just him. It's just Hooper and Brody just swimming away. They're on the barrels. The barrels are there. That's their flotation device. And maybe it's just the quickness of it. Like the shark dies and then the movie's over within like a matter of minutes. But I guess there's probably nowhere else to go at that point.
Yeah, I've never actually thought of alternative endings. But in my opinion, it definitely should have ended there.
Yeah, it's a place to end it.
I don't think anything should have happened after Jaws.
Have you ever seen any of the other Jaws?
It's been a really long time, and they are forgetful.
Yeah, it's just terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like there's Jaws. I know there's a 3D Jaws 3, and that's early 3D technology. That's like where they shoot the movie more for the 3D effects. Like. The chair comes flying towards the screen, so people can, it's not like a 3D movie as much as it's like almost like a 3D movie at like Disney World.
Right, and I don't even think I saw it in 3D. I think I saw it on good old VHS.
Yeah, no, and then fancy tickets getting to the VHS.
There's a SeaWorld one, right?
There's a SeaWorld one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm guessing the SeaWorld one is maybe 4 because I think there's 4 and Jaws 3 was 3D. I wonder. I mean, 2 even
was just
even
like a
if they
reboot
degrade
of-
over time, 2 couldn't have been like
2 was just kind of a reboot of the idea of 1.
Yeah, but like we said, like this is a classic, great movie. Also, like just to throw in, like this is Steven Spielberg directing this movie. This is like one of the greatest directors of all time. And watching it, there are all these little things that just like catch your eye. There's a lot of like angles with the camera. There's when Jaws gets away after it's in the bay, you know, like where his son almost gets it, and they just have this like zoom in where the angle is like through the pier, and then later there's a similar shot where the angle is through the as they're sailing out, it's through the jaws of the sharks that are in Quint's building, or whatever you would say. And then there's a great shot from a crow's nest where like Hooper's playing solitaire. They're like sitting like waiting for it to happen. So there are all these great, you know, shots and the score and the use of silence that we mentioned early. Yeah. And so when you throw all that in, like Jaws is Jaws, and then the rest of them are just not. So that's it, man. I think we did it, Mr. Seidel.
All right.
Anything else? Any final thoughts on fishing, the school year? Sharks?
No, just another great school year. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
Absolutely.
Thank you to the class of 2025. I enjoyed working with you. And congratulations on starting your senior year.
Yeah, seriously. That's what I was like saying. I'm like, you guys are seniors now. I like saying it because it upsets them. And then I like seeing them in the hallway next year and ask them the worst thing you can ask a senior. How's senior year going? It's never good, but that's a fun game to play.
Indeed.
Well, thank you, Mr. Seidel. We appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. This is episode 26. I thought you were going to be 27, and then we've had to patchwork our guests together. So we got one more to do, and we will have a completed season. We will get that one in. I think Mrs. McCaughey is going to be the guest
Oh, very
on that
nice.
one. Last year ended with Francis and Owen came up during a day when they were done with school. So I think we're going to do one with Mr. McCaughey and Mrs. McCaughey. And I think it's going to be the Mark Harmon Classic Summer School, which would be a great way to end the school year. And that is also a great movie and a favorite of ours. I'm sure I've said this to you, and I'll say it next week when we record. I knew I was going to marry my wife when we each bought each other Summer School on DVD for Christmas one year. So that would be a good one to do. So we'll do that one. You can find us on Instagram at the 27THHS, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and the classic YouTube channel. So that's it, man. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you. And we'll see everyone next time on the 27th. Take care.
This has been a presentation of the 27 and the Critic.